Hey friends, welcome to our weekly live. Today we are going to be talking about lash serums and how they affect lash lifts. We see this question a lot, not just in this group, but all over. Can my client use lash growth serums while we're doing lash lifts? Is it safe? And a lot of times we're walking through some troubleshooting with y'all and find out that maybe your client is using a lash growth serum, and that's why you're not getting the best results from your lash lift. So we're really going to dive into that topic today, and I'm going to explain exactly how lash growth serums work and why we don't love for our clients to be on them consistently when we're lash lifting them. So to start with, we're going to go over the hair cycles. So the shedding phases of our hair, the life of the hair. So we have anagen, catagen, telogen, and exogen phases. So bear with me as I draw because I'm not a great artist. Try to bring you guys closer to the board here. But let's say, just to give you guys a visual, here's our skin. Let's see if y'all can see that. Let me try and black for everything. Okay, so there's our skin. Here's our hair, right? The follicle goes down under the skin. And then we have our blood supply to the hair. And this blood supply is what gives our hair all of its nutrients, everything it needs to grow. Everything from the little anagen baby growth stage until it's ready to shed in that exogen phase. Our hair is getting this blood supply, feeding it all of its nutrients that it needs. Let me adjust you guys just a little bit more so you can see a little better. Hopefully y'all can see that. If you have questions or it doesn't make sense as I'm going, feel free to comment and ask all the questions that you would like. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. So hair follicle, here's my skin, the hair goes under the skin, and here's the blood supply. So as the hair gradually matures into the other phases, it begins in anagen. Once it gets to the catagen and telogen phase, essentially what happens is that blood supply is cut off from the hair because now there's a new little baby hair under here pushing this hair out and up, and this baby hair is taking all of the blood supply for the nutrients. So when this blood supply is cut off completely is when our exogen phase happens, which is the actual shedding of this hair, and then the new hair growth comes in, okay? So that's essentially how a normal hair cycle works. What happens when we're on lash growth serums, essentially any kind of lash growth serum, whether it be a prescription, when they just buy over the counter at a beauty supply store, maybe even from you, what it's targeting is this blood supply here, okay? So the lash growth serums encourage the blood supply to feed this hair even longer, which is what makes the hair longer, maybe even fuller, and it also stays in place longer. So whereas most of our hairs are gonna shed in our lashes about 6 to 8 weeks, sometimes sooner, some people may have a little longer of a phase, with the growth serum, it could stay in place a lot longer than that, sometimes even twice as long. So let's just say that hair stays in place for maybe 15 weeks, which is a really long time for one hair to stay in place. If we are doing any kind of lash lift or really any kind of chemical treatment on a hair every 6 to 8 weeks, and this hair is staying in place for 12, 15, maybe even 20 weeks, that means we're repeating that chemical process on this same hair over and over. And what's gonna happen is it's gonna damage the integrity of the hair at that point. It doesn't matter how safe our chemical processes are, it can really start to wear that hair down and damage it, which is why we don't really love lash growth serums when we're lash lifting regularly, because we end up lifting the same hair multiple times and possibly damaging it. Now, what you don't want to do is if your clients are used to using this lash growth serum every single day and it's telling all of their lashes to feed these little lash hairs longer, keep the blood supply there longer, you don't want to tell them to stop using their serum cold turkey. So don't just cut it off completely. what you want them to do instead, because what will happen if they stop using their serum cold turkey, it's going to tell all of their hairs, hey, we don't have to feed you this blood supply anymore, so you can all shed and make your way out. And so they're gonna go through a really substantial shedding phase if they cut it off cold turkey, where they're gonna feel like they have no lashes left at all, and no client wants that. So instead, what you want them to do is just kind of cut it back to every other day, maybe even just 2 times a week, and that's manageable. Even if they wanna stay on that long term, they can use that growth serum 2 to 3 times a week. It's not going to keep their hair in place for quite as long, so then you're not processing it over and over again, which is ideal for us. So that is essentially why we don't love clients to be on lash growth serums consistently while we're lifting them every 6 to 8 weeks, okay? And that goes for our one-shot system and even our Eliplex Profusion system. Any kind of system where we're breaking down those protein bonds and reforming them, it can really damage the hair's integrity when we're doing it to that same exact hair over and over again. Okay, also some other lash growth serums might even have castor oil in them, mineral oils, things that can damage your lash lift or dull the results. So it could cause your curl to straighten out, your lift to straighten out, and we talked about that last week in our aftercare video, but that goes along with it. We definitely have not tested every brand of lash growth serum with our lifting system, so we just don't know how it's gonna react in that way. But this is an overview of why we don't love lash growth serums with lash lifting. If y'all have any questions, feel free to leave them below. I will explain further if you need more clarification, but that's also some information you can pass on to your clients. So I hope that was helpful. Let us know what other kind of videos y'all would like to see in here, what questions you have, if there's any techniques you would like to see on models, I'm happy to do that as well. Hope y'all have a great week. See you next week.